Hey, Cleaning Nation, this is Mike Campion. I'm having a friend with my new conversation, a conversation with my new best friend, John Hancher. He is an Accelerator member, and my bride/producer, Natalie, thought that his story would be amazing and awesome to share with you guys. So he and I booked a little bit of time to chat on the phone so we could talk about that and share with you guys. So, John, before we get started, tell us who the heck you are, a little bit about your business. I think you mentioned you're 28 years old. That's fascinating. I started my first business when I was like 22, which was a cleaning business. So just give us a little intro to you, my friend.
Sure, yeah. Again, my name is John. I'm the owner, part owner in JMS Cleaning. We run it with my mom and my dad. I originally started it, and then my mom jumped on, and then my dad was still working for a little bit, and then my dad jumped on. I started when I started in 2011, so I think I was 22, 23, the same as you, Mike, when I started the cleaning business. And I was working at Chick-fil-A, making about $100 a month, and I was like, I got to do something. So I just decided to Google some stuff and figure out what was an easy business to get into, and cleaning popped up. So I was like, I can do that. Sounds pretty easy. Did that and started the business. Started knocking on doors, just going door to door. We started in residential, had a few customers, and then we just kept going door to door. We got a few small, one time a month commercial customers. And then I found out that how to make a website and how to do SEO and stuff like that. And I did that for about 6 months of just hardcore studying and stuff like that. And then we got on page 1, and that's when we really started to grow into the 6 figures and stuff like that. So that's kind of the storyline.
Yeah, I am taking some notes, and I can't hardly type as fast. You're like giving me like interesting fact after interesting fact. So, and I have 37 questions about just about everything you said. So, first of all, you said you started when you're 22, 23. So immediately I like you right off the bat because I'm like, that's me. That was a young, dopey kid just like me. And I don't know about you. I had a baby face at that time. You look young or old, or if you have a picture, send it over to Natalie.
Yes, I have a super baby face. Everyone thought I was 15.
I had the same thing. I'll tell you, I'm 43 now, dude. You'll kill for that baby face here in about a decade or so. So congrats on that. I love that you were working at Chick-fil-A. Like, that is so cool. I love that in America, I think a lot of countries it's not like that. If you start off poor, it's very hard to not be poor. But in America, you can have literally a minimum wage job, and instead of fighting the government to make minimum wage higher, go, you know what? I think I'm just going to make my skills more valuable and go out there and earn. Maybe the government, if we vote hard enough, will make minimum wage $12 as opposed to 10. Goes, I don't want 10 or 12. I got to go make a living. I got to go bring some value to the world. I'm going to make $100.
Yeah, right.
So I love that. I love that you just Googled what business can a 22-year-old dopey kid working at, and that was me, by the way, so I can call you dopey because I was so dopey. Working at Chick-fil-A, how can I make a buck? And then I love that you just said, I didn't know nothing about nothing, so I went door to door, and then I'm guessing you got tired. I go, well, this doesn't work super well. And you just, Google helped me get into this business. Maybe I freaking love it. Every step of that is awesome. So what was the time frame from when you started to when you replaced the Chick-fil-A, you said you were making $100 a month. So that's not really a good question, but how long did it take you before you're like able to pay your bills just with this business?
Oh gosh. Probably I want to say a year, 8 months, year. I knew not, another little backstory about me real quick. I was a juvenile delinquent kid, bad kid, dropped out of school. I can't spell. I can read fairly decent now after 5 or 10 years practicing, but I'm not school savvy at all. And so I knew nothing about nothing. And I just kind of was like, okay, I just got to figure this out. So Google has been a great friend of mine. And once I learned the power of Google, things started to change. So I had to grow every step. I had nobody. My parents had stuff, but they never started a business like this or anything like that. So it was I just had to learn. I had to grind it out pretty much.
Man, I am liking you better and better by the second. No, the fact that you're like, it wasn't easy, man. It's not, because so many of my clients are like, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. All your other people that you interview or I hear from, they all have these advantages. But the funny thing is, other people that say they have the advantages, those people are saying to me the same thing. Oh, your other people, everyone thinks they're disadvantaged. So I love that I don't know what they're going to say. You didn't have a bunch of money, did you? It's not like you said you had $20,000 to start the business. Okay, so you had no money, you had no education, you were working at Chick-fil-A. I'm trying to think of what other things people could complain about, but I don't know. You spoke the language, so some people I talked to like I can't. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I'll tell you how broke we were. My mom had to sell her wedding ring to pay our rent. I'll put it that way. That's how broke we were. All right, so that's where we were at. So that's where I had to come from to do that. So it was definitely, we all stuck together and did all that stuff. But anyways, go on.
No, your story is far more interesting than anything I could say. So you just keep talking, dude. I am literally, it's like I'm like, are you trying to like get a made for TV movie or something? Because you're just nailing like all these things that sound fascinating. And you should. I would watch that movie. All right, so it took you about a year to get it. You decided to start with SEO, or you built your own website. It sounds like.
Yeah. So back then, if you threw up a website and you just had like, hey, call us and we do commercial cleaning, office cleaning, whatever you want to call it, thing, people would call. It wasn't like, there wasn't such, at least in my area, I'm in Sarasota, Florida, it wasn't crazy with commercial cleaners and big corporations and all that stuff. I mean, there was still some, but not like there is now. With everything. So yeah, they just started calling and I got some really good contracts and had no sales system. I mean, we literally walked in there and was like, oh, we can clean this and we'll do it for this. And we send over a little proposal and they'd go, you know what? Yep, fine. And it was like, I was listening to somebody, it was fluke contracts is what you call it. You just showed up and you got the deal kind of thing. And so that's how we kind of grew. And we've got some good stuff. We do boat dealerships. We do some builders. We do some cool tech company stuff, which is really interesting. And we do all kinds of, mainly it's all office cleaning in general.
So how long have you been in
contracts? We definitely have
how long have you been in business total and where are you at employee wise?
Sure. So I've been in business since 2011, February 2011.
Okay, just to now, FYI, this is being recorded May 3rd. This is being recorded May 2017. So you said July 2011?
Okay. No, February 2011.
Okay, so we're right at 6 years. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, 6 years. So where was I? I lost my train of thought. Where are we at?
No, you're just saying, so you started 2011, so basically 6 years ago, and I was just asking you how long you had been in business, which you answered, and then where are you at now in terms of, just so we get an idea of scope, are you still doing any of the cleaning, some of the cleaning? You got 1 employee, 100 employees? Just give us an idea of where you're at now.
Yeah, sure. So I just recently, once I joined Accelerators, I just recently have got out of the day-to-day cleaning thing just like last month.
All right, attaboy. Like that.
But
that's my favorite story, by the way, of just about anybody is you before we were cleaning and now I run my business. So that warms the cockles of my heart. I can't tell you how big of a smile I have, but go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, you're welcome. So anyways, what happened so I was really committed to this business when we first started. And then I lost hope in this business because we grew to about like 6 employees at like 2 years or 3 years, somewhere around that mark. And it was just a nightmare. They weren't cleaning well. I had to check them constantly. I was going there anyways and cleaning up after them. I did that for like 2 years. Just like making up mistakes, like, oh, eventually they'll get it, and and oh, I don't know how to correct them correctly without pissing them off, so I'm just going to clean it up after, and blah, 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 all kinds of sap stories. Anyways, so then I just gave up and I was like, I'm going to do something else, but I still kept the business because it was paying the bills. And I looked into carpet cleaning, looked into pressure washing, looked into window cleaning, all kinds of stuff. I started a pressure washing business. I was doing okay with that for a little bit. I just never marketed anymore. Just left the website, just kept the clients. We got a few referrals here and there and just let it go. And then the last, I don't know, year now was like, I had an epiphany. I was like, pressure washing was great, but it wasn't residual money. And so I was like, I'm going to focus on this and make this grow, and I can do this now. And then I started researching. That's how I found Grow My Cleaning Company and all that stuff. And then I started getting into self-help books with like Ty Lopez, Grant Cardone, Gary Vaynerchuk, all those people. I started reading books and going crazy with information and overload, which I don't recommend. Read one book at a time and just focus on implementing that. But all that stuff. And then I have a friend. I'm also doing some other stuff on the side that I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create a product and then, have something that is, one and done kind of deal or whatever. Anyways, that's off on a tangent. But yeah, so I want to focus and grow this and realize the possibilities of what a cleaning company, commercial cleaning company can bring to me. And I feel like it's going to be awesome in the future. And it's awesome now. But
I am digging your energy. So let me recap the story as I heard it, so you can correct me if I missed anything. What I hear you say is you started as a super young guy. Sure. Sounds like 22 years old because you're 28 now. Within the first couple of years, you'd grown to 5-6 employees. They made you insane, so you spent a couple of years trying to figure out how to make them work for you, as opposed to, it sounds like you were working for them. Like you'd pay them to clean, and then you go back and clean what you just paid them to clean. So you decided, you know what, I'm going to branch out. You branched out, and after a little bit of that going, God bless it, the business that I worked on 5 years ago is still paying my stinking bills, even though I'm not even paying any attention to it. Maybe I should go back and pay some attention to it. And then you you dove headfirst into self-help, business, self-development, and now you are back with high hopes and expectations of being able to be successful in this business. Did I mischaracterize you, or are we on track?
Correct. Okay,
correct. Cool.
And now we have 12 employees. Just so
perfect. Okay, that's fantastic. And you just stopped cleaning last month.
Yeah.
I'm taking notes, by the way. Just stopped because I love this cleaning last.
Sure.
month.
Yeah. I mean, and cleaning. I mean, when you stop cleaning, you stop the day-to-day stuff. But then, I haven't put the system in place that I got from you yet to have other people cover shifts. So every once in a while, when people call out or whatever, I still have to go clean. It's just at this point, that's where I'm at.
I'm going to beat you up for 2 seconds, even though you've been kind enough. I'll give you one little bit of coaching you didn't ask. First of all, you said when people don't show up, I have to clean. Not true. When people don't show up, you choose to clean. I'm not saying it's a bad choice. Yeah. I never want you could just say not going to clean, and worst comes to worst, it doesn't get cleaned that night. Not recommending it, but I just want to make sure that we're all clear. We always make the decision to clean. At no point does someone have a gun to our head saying clean it or this is your last day on earth. So just want to encourage you to think about that every time you clean. You choose. Okay. Sorry, the coach. This is your story, and I can't help myself. So you went from 0 employees to 6, back down to 0. Now up to 12, and it's just in the last couple months again, I don't want to say this if it's not true. Did you just go from 0 to 12 last couple months, last couple years? How long has that taken you to kind of rebuild?
No, we've always had employees ever since we started getting employees and having enough work for employees. Okay. We would teeter-totter, so we'd have 6, and then I'd do some work and stuff like that, and then I'd go, I'm tired of this, and then I'd hire some, and then back and forward. It was kind of like a cedar saw, just going up and down, and it hovered between 6 and 10.
And I want to encourage you, buddy. Your story is not unique. A lot of people feel like, oh, I'm so stupid, I don't have the systems, blah, blah, blah. Dude, this is what the people listening to this are. I promise you're all going, that's me. Oh my gosh, if John can do it, I can do it. This is so I just want to encourage you that you are not alone. So many people, and that's the part of the power of Cleaning Nation is we can kind of see other people doing the same thing with the same struggles. Some smarter, some not as smart, some more successful, some less successful, and kind of understand like, okay, I can get this done. So you said you started researching. I would love to hear, and this is a story I don't know, so I'm excited to hear it. How did we get connected? How did you kind of find Cleaning Nation?
So it all started with one book. And I don't know if you've heard of this book. A lot of people dog on it. I think it's probably it's my favorite book because it got me on this path. It's called 6 Months to Six Figures by Peter Voogd. I hope I didn't butcher his last name. It's a Voogd or something like that. And he just breaks down clarity, confidence. There's a couple other ones. I had to refresh myself on it, on what you need to succeed and go to the next level. And so I was like, okay. And I think one of it was get a mentor. So I was like, I need to find, and I knew there's online courses out there for just about everything nowadays. So I was just like, there's got to be somebody out there, doing something about cleaning. And so I just typed that in. I think it was either YouTube or Google. To be honest with you, I can't remember.
That's fine. Yeah, I'm not really looking so much for like what keyword did you type in? Just like what emotional mental state caused you to go from where you were to where you are. So it sounds like and I love the book, and I'm going to put that in the show notes.
I knew.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, my mental state was, I don't know crap, and I got to figure this out, and hopefully someone else is willing to share that information with me.
I got to tell you, and I want to camp on this for a second because there's so many people listening. They're going to miss what you just said. Two things that are phenomenal, and it's so cool. I love your attitude and your humility because you just go forward and you say really helpful, insightful things like you're nothing. And I want to make sure that we stop and point those out. So you said two things that I think Cleaning Nation can get a lot of value from if they choose. First thing is you read a book. Now it's three things. First thing, you read a book. So many people and there's nothing wrong with online stuff. I'm online. I got the podcast and the Growing Clear and the YouTube channel. So please don't hear me knocking online stuff. But books are a little different. They take longer to write. They're usually a little more thought out. There's just a different barrier to entry. So you're reading a book, even for a guy who self-proclaimed like, hey, I'm not great at reading, but it sounds like your passion for hitting your goals was bigger than your not natural interest in reading. Fair?
Yes.
Definitely. Okay. So that part's basic, although most people don't get it. It gets even better when you said the magic word. The book said I needed a mentor, so instead of writing it down and making a note and talking to my spouse and going on to do a bunch of busy work, look, John said, I will go find a mentor. That's the key to the whole thing. There's so many people that read books or listen to coaches, good or bad, and make notes and talk about this and think about that and make plans for that. John he wasn't smart enough to do any of that stuff. He trusted the guy in the book, and I'll link to it. I have never read it, but sounds like it's had a very good impact on John's life. Said, well, the guy in the book says I need a mentor, so I'll go find a mentor. And then he just did. So that part is huge. And then the third thing, I love what you said was, I don't know anything. So I figured I'd go find somebody that does and just do what they tell me to do. And I love that for two reasons. One's the obvious one is I'm the guy that helps other people do it. And I can't help anybody for one-on-one coaching. I do not accept anyone that is not coachable and doesn't have a passion to learn. Period. End of sentence. That's the first reason. The second reason, I was that guy. I was so you when I was 22 years old, but I'm so old. There were no internet. It was just books. And I promise you, if there was a book on how to run a commercial cleaning business, I didn't know it existed, and I would have paid $100 for it. So anyway, I just love that first you were reading online, offline. You weren't just all about Google. You're like, I want information from anywhere viable. Second, you actually did what it said. Third, you recognize I don't know everything, and maybe I don't even know anything, and I'm going to listen to those who do. And I'll let you guys in on a secret. I never want you guys to think I'm at the top of the mountain. I've learned everything there is to learn, and you come to me and I'll help you. It's quite the opposite. I am constantly reading books, going to seminars. Sometimes I speak, sometimes I always speak and listen, and I'm constantly learning and disseminating the information into the cleaning business. So I just want to encourage. I was absolutely John 20 years ago. I'm still John now, just older and probably not as good looking. And I just love that. I love that you just said, what do you mean? I read a book that I trusted. These guys said I need a mentor, so I went and got a mentor. Like, I don't see the hard part. It's not hard when people just do it, but they make it so much more complex. John just says it so simplistically. It sounds easy, and it is easy. So I just wanted to camp on that because you said some really good stuff, John. I want people to miss it.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, I'm super simple. So
see, that's all that works is simple stuff. The more complex it is, the more I start going, this isn't going to work. Okay. So you were kind of in this place of, I love your attitude and your passion. You're going to do great. And you started the business, you had some success, it got frustrating, you wandered off, you realized, hey, I've got a potential gold mine here in my backyard. You reconnected, you started getting involved with just really developing John as a person, as a businessman, as an entrepreneur, as everything. And in that, somebody said you need a mentor in your space. So you found a mentor in your space. And then what was that transition like? Because I know it's so scary for people. And again, this isn't a pitch for me, but anytime you go from there's so much information out there for free, and by golly, there is, to I'm going to give another human being that I know, like, and trust to some degree money to help me, but maybe he gives me bad advice and my business goes other, or maybe he just steals my money and I got taken advantage of, or maybe I look or feel foolish. There's a lot of oftentimes, I shouldn't say for you, I don't know your story, but there's a lot of fear, and that's kind of an uncomfortable thing to do. Tell me how you felt and what that kind of looked like from your perspective.
Man, that's a long and hard question. It's complicated because you have, on one hand, you're like, okay, I need a mentor. But then how do you choose a right mentor? And, I want to say you have to have, I heard this from Tai Lopez, you have to have uncommon common sense, if that makes sense. Because he always says, like, so many people don't just have common sense. And you have to look at it like, is this person speaking or telling me things that I can see affect my business? And if you can't, if they're just throwing out words in the air and they're not giving you real value, real tactics, real stuff that, you're dealing with, then, I'm not saying that some of those stuff is not good, but then it's, you have to discern. You have to, be able to say, okay, is this guy full of hot air, or is this guy telling me really good stuff? And then, and deal with that. And you know what? I've listened to some people where you buy an ebook and you're like, oh my gosh, this is total junk. And then sometimes you get an ebook or something like that where you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Or it's a 2-minute video where somebody just posted and it's just some guy that just said something. You're like, oh my gosh, that's the one piece I was missing, or something, whatever. And I've missed some stuff. And nowadays I'm very slow to let other people talk to me or influence me. I follow them first for a while. I make sure that they're worth a damn. Sorry, pardon my French. Make sure they're worth what they say beforehand, and then I'll start to, engage with them and follow them and start listening to them and doing that stuff nowadays. Because like you said before, there's so many people out there.
So I'm going to be the voice of Cleaning Nation because there's a bunch of them out there screaming. And first of all, everything you said, I agree with 1,000%. It is so important to have it's not important to have a mentor. It is important to have the right mentor. You get the wrong guy or gal that, like you said, doesn't know what either maliciously is just trying to take advantage of you, or best intentions, but they're an idiot. Equally dangerous, right? So I love that you're getting, it's not just, I need to fill a mentor slot, but I really need to build a relationship with someone that I trust and can help me. So what was that for you? And I don't want to beat you up on it. I just know that people are, because I get emails, like, yeah, I'm there. And I get what you're saying. I don't want to pick a bad one. So how do you go about picking good ones? You follow them, and the ones that are worthwhile, you want to invest either time or money or attention with, and those that aren't. But how do you personally, not that this is the right for everybody, but how do you personally discern what's good and what's not?
How do I personally discern what's good and what's not? So you have to have a base point of where you're going to be able to discern what's good or not, first of all. And then once you've established that base point, how I pick somebody that I want to be mentored by, or am I going to follow, I look at what they're doing in real life is a really good point.
Great point.
And how, so if they're Tai Lopez, for instance, Tai Lopez reads a book a day. So I go, okay, this guy reads a book a day, and you just listen to him for 5 minutes, and you just hear what he has to say, and you're like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. And that's and someone also that brings clarity to you is a big one for me. People that I don't have, like, when they speak or when they talk about something, there's instant clarification on certain things that maybe I'm looking for, and at least that's how I've done it. I haven't really thought too deep about that on how I pick somebody. I just kind of did, but those would be the things that come to top of mind right now.
Well, and I want to encourage Cleaning Nation. It does help. It helps a lot. But the one thing I want to encourage on that people don't miss is there is no quote unquote right answer, right? I am sure there are thousands, if not tens of thousands of people that would hear my voice and go, loser, for whatever, it just rubs me the wrong way, thinks he's fun. I don't know, whatever your beef is, God bless you. And I'm not for them. That's okay. So same with just about any coach or mentor. So it's not like there's just the right answer or the wrong answer. There's really the right answer or wrong answer for you. Something that I say maybe ring very true to John. He's like, I got it. It was clear. And someone else might have said he talked too fast. He uses stupid words. I don't even get it. So long story short, I just want to encourage you that that's a great process. But there's no one size fits all, right? We've got to find someone that knows you and the business that you're in, with the goals that you have and the place that you're at, and matches your core values, matches your integrity, right? Or not integrity, but if integrity is important to you, then by golly, you want someone that has high integrity. If you want to lie, cheat, and steal, find a liar and have him teach you how to do that.
Yeah, and what you just said was so important. Where you're at is another huge factor, I think, because some people, like, I'm sure you get this all the time, some people you're coaching, they're just starting a business. They're not even concerned about hiring somebody. Like, that's the last in their mind. They're just trying to get 5 jobs. And that's, to be honest with you, there's a different mentor for that to a certain extent. I've in the cleaning industry, for instance, there's other people that are mentoring that just focus on hiring, and that's all they focus on, right? Or there's somebody that just focuses on lead generation and sales, and that's it. And Mike, you have a very broad scope of mentoring stuff. That's one of the things I like about you is I can go from hiring somebody, operations, sales, dealing with customers, all that stuff in one spot, which is nice. You don't have to have 5 different experts telling you different stuff and then trying to discern with this person, and then you got to put those pieces together and all that stuff.
Yeah, and the last thing, I don't want to belabor this too much, but the last point I want to make on this, because I love it, is you had different mentors in different areas, right? Like Ty Lopez, who I'm familiar with, is more. It doesn't have anything to do with the cleaning business. He's just a general kind of expert.
No.
Whereas I'm only business, right? I don't do a lot of self-development and how to make John a better person. I just know how to build 7-figure cleaning businesses. So there's different things for different things. Okay, last question, and then I'll let you go because I know you've got more important things to do than yak with me. So how has your life changed? So once you finally decided, okay, I'm going to trust this idiot enough to actually give him time, money, attention. And again, this is not a sales pitch. So I want honesty. If it sucks, if your life's better, worse, the same, we're looking for honest feedback in terms of how is your life different?
It's been better and it's been more clear. It's really basic. You brought clarity to things that were very foggy for me, or weren't even in my, I don't know what you want to call it, in my persona or on top in my brain. It wasn't even there. Like having a hiring system, for instance, never even thought of that. I was like, oh snap. That is a good idea. I should probably do that. Or, how to deal with customer complaints, or how to, train somebody correctly. That didn't come naturally to me. I had to research that and figure that out. And thank God you had, when I first heard your podcast, I kid you not, I listened to that podcast for a week straight, nonstop, just soaking all that stuff. I'm not trying to butter you up or anything like that. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy has this information that I need and that I need to learn. And I just was like, okay, this is it. I'm just going to dig into this. And I've dissected this might sound crazy to you, but I've literally dissected podcasts and broken them down and created systems out of them, just out of your podcast, just because I was like, okay, this can work. I can do this, blah, 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 blah. I can, go through all that stuff. But that's how crazy I am with it sometimes. Like I'll listen to a podcast 8 times so I memorize it and then I'll try to teach it to my mom or dad so I can learn it perfectly. So I know it, but it takes me that long to, I know a guy, he can read something, listen to something, he knows it, he's memorized it, it's not a big deal. Not me. I've got to do it 10, 20 times before I know something. I'm just not intelligently gifted like that.
Well, first of all, God, you're saying so much stuff that's so good. Again, this comes back to what John said about the book. There's hundreds of thousands of listeners to this podcast, and I hate to say this, but I got to guess over 90% listen and go, well, some will go, that guy's an idiot, I'm not interested, fine. But the vast majority, oh, that guy's great, he's so smart, everything I need is right here. And then they wander off and do the exact same thing. So when John says, I listen for, and that's not uncommon, by the way, there's a lot of, I listened to we're at 200 and some episodes, and there's insane people that have listened to all of them. But John not only dove in. Insane people. Yeah, exactly. Which is, again, God bless you. I would go insane listen to my own voice. I like me, and I go insane listen to my voice that much. But I love that you guys are so committed to the business that it's like, I don't care what it costs. This is what I got to do. And then I listened to him 8 times. I'm not saying you have to do that. Your process is your process. John's is John. So don't do exactly that. But the concept is important. He said, this guy, I typed it down. This guy's the information I need. I'm going to dig in. I've dissected podcasts, broken them down, and created systems. That's the hard work that separates the people that are going to succeed from the people that are like, that was great. It was fun. Next podcast, no action. The fact that you listen to him over and over, and I don't care if it takes you 1 time or 100 times, the fact you're like, I'm going to listen to him until I get it, that's huge. And then to teach it to someone else, by the way, that's the best way to learn. So quick little hint, when you're training your people, the finishing thing for all of your training should be them training somebody else, because that's the best way to learn something. All right. John, you have been fantastic. It's just been like, I feel like it's been a whirlwind. I could talk to you for like 3 hours, dude. I'm just literally fascinated. But I want to make sure you've got the last word. You can talk about Grow My Cleaning Company, me, you, your family, the cleaning business, life, philosophy. You will... You close us out, brother. Say anything you want to say.
2 things I want to say. Number 1 is to everyone listening to this, continue to self-educate and self-improve. That is probably going to be one of your biggest assets in life in general. And quote by Ty Lopez, because it's really stuck with me and it's really resonated with me ever since I heard it. Are you worth $1 million? Are you worth $1 million? I'm not going to say what he said again because it's French, but are you worth that $1 million company? Do you put in the time? Do you put in the work? Do you put in everything that's involved into $1 million? Are you worth that? And that's what a billionaire spoke to him is, are you worth it? Are you worth that? And that's what I'll leave it with.
I love it. And that is so... Yeah, that's so good. All right, folks. If people fall in love with you, which they inevitably will, is there any way you would like to share they get a hold of you if they have questions, comments, or rude remarks to throw your way?
If you guys have a question or how I did something or whatever, you can email me at John, JOHN, at jmscleaningservices.com.
All right. And with that, we will let you go. Clean Nation, thanks for joining us. If you've got any questions, comments, feel free to reach out to me. John, you guys are the best. Keep up the good work. Talk soon.